friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Can you guys even freaking believe it? I can't. I can't believe that we're sitting here right now talking about the final part of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. It feels like just yesterday I sat down with you guys and we reacted to the season premiere trailer.
Is attainable.
I am screaming! And here we are talking about the end of Salt Lake City. So I've decided to break this review up into two different parts. Today we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 3, and then on Sunday I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts of everything that I thought of season 1. So let's not bullshit and let's get right into the review of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 3. So we ended last week's part 2 reunion with Lisa storming off set. Does she return?
I'm good. I'm great. Let's go.
Of course she comes back. She's contractually obligated to get her ass back on set. So we open part 3 of the reunion with the husbands joining, some in person and some virtually. I feel like this is a reunion first, having some of the husbands on I'm assuming Zoom or Skype or some sort of virtual screen. So that's interesting. Robert Cosby, though, he is not thrilled to be part of the reunion.
Robert, you don't seem thrilled, Robert. Not at all.
Gee, I wonder why. Jen freaking out here with her Bye Felicia fan. I love a fan pop. I'm just saying. So we dive deep into the marriages and we chatted up with all of the husbands. So remember last week when Mary talked about not having anything in writing and there was no will on whether or not she should get married to Robert Sr. They did a flashback, and in the confessional, she mentions that there was a written will and that Mary's grandmother did talk to Robert, and the whole thing just really flippin' confuses me.
It was kind of in my grandma's will for us to marry.
She said, if anything ever happens to me, Bobby, I want you to marry one of my girls because they'll look out for you.
So Justin, Whitney's husband, he's opening up about his relationship with the Mormon church, and he reveals that he got a letter stating that he's no longer allowed to be a member of the church. And this whole thing, it really upsets Heather because it's very similar to the situation that she's going through currently. So then Lisa, she's explaining that divorce within the Mormon church is not really frowned upon and that there's a seal that can be broken. Basically, from what I understood from watching and listening, there's two ways that you can get married as a Mormon. You can have a ceremony on your own, or you can get a seal from within the Mormon temple basically saying that you're married for eternity and life. So Heather, she has her own experiences by being divorced, and she doesn't agree with Lisa's stance on divorce being really okay within the Mormon church. I'm not a Mormon and I don't really understand, but apparently there's some sort of seal that you can break away from. I don't know. So Robert Sr., though, we go back over to him, and he was hesitant for Mary to join the show because of, what type of relationship that they are in. He didn't want to be part of the show, and he's really upset with all of the grandpa jokes. And I'm sorry, I took part in the grandpa jokes. And after hearing everything from what happened during the reunion this week, I am very sorry, but it was an easy expense. But I am sorry, and it does appear that they are very happy together, and he was extremely upset, and his feelings were hurt, and blah, blah, blah. But hearing Robert talk about Mary and their relationship, though, it really just opened my eyes. Like, no matter how weird the situation is, and all the jokes that we cracked about it, Robert says that Mary is a great mom, a great wife, and a great person. And all around, with this reunion specifically, I just feel as if Mary is misunderstood. And I've taken cheap shots at their marriage. I am guilty of it. But after hearing everything that went down, I am gonna lay off. So Mary said something that was really touching during the reunion. The fact that, after all of the crap Mary and Jen have been through this season, for Mary to admit that she really didn't give Jen a chance to accept who she was a huge, pivotal moment within the relationship. And I really feel like they're setting I really feel like they're setting the groundwork to move forward within a new friendship. And we can only hope. Gracie, do you want in? I gotta let my dog in. She will not let me go. Do you want to give the people, do you want to say hi to the people? Do you want to say hi to the people? Come here, say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. She wants to be part of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. Gracie, what do you have to say about it? Do we think Jen and Mary are gonna be able to move forward and be friends? I do. Okay, I'll put you down. I digress. Anyway, so Coach Shaw opened up about his thoughts about how Jen reacted towards Mary this season. And the whole moment with Coach Shaw was very, very, very touching. Basically, Coach Shaw, he apologized to Robert. Man to man, apologized, heart to heart. This whole moment between Jen and Mary and Coach Shaw and Robert, I feel like it was a very pivotal moment. I think it was huge progress to paving a new friendship between the two couples. Damn, I can't talk today, guys. So Coach Shaw is so freaking inspirational, so down to earth, and just all around a really great guy. Jen Shaw, you've got a great husband on your hands. The way he explained his feelings to Robert about the fallout from Jen's words, it was really touching, and it really did make me feel good that he was able to apologize and be in his wife's corner at the same time. It was, honestly, guys, it was probably one of the most touching moments that I've ever watched on a Housewives reunion. And there, I said it, and I've watched a lot of freaking reunions. So Andy then asks Whitney how her dad is doing. And we find out that Whitney doesn't even know how he's doing because he doesn't reach out to her anymore. And they have not even spoken. She thinks that the show broke her dad. And it's really disappointing. And he basically disappeared and she has no idea where he is. And I was rooting for him. We were all rooting for him. But they're having this serious conversation about Whitney's dad, and Andy asks a very shady question. He asks whether or not Whitney's dad's hair is real or if it's a wig. Girl, you shady.
We got a lot of questions about your dad's hair. Is that a wig that he wears?
No, that is his hair.
That is his hair.
So now we bring up Meredith's marriage issues with Seth. And Meredith is all, everything's great, everything's fine, couldn't be better. And it just doesn't seem very convincing. Meredith did say that her and Seth did file for divorce before the show started filming, and that they've had multiple separations, have dated separate people. But I mean, it looks like they're doing good now, and we'll see what season 2 holds for them. So because Meredith is opening up about all of her marriage struggles and everything that went along with it, that caused Lisa to get very emotional because she cares for Meredith and Seth, and she loves them as a couple and is rooting for them and wants them to be together. And it was just a really touching moment, and it really just showed me that Lisa is a really good friend to Meredith. I almost said Heather. To Meredith. But here comes Heather saying, oh, I don't understand why you're so upset about this, because you just made it seem that divorce within the Mormon community is no big deal and you can just move on from it.
Lisa, you always say divorce is no big deal, but you're so emotional and you're so, my family's divorced, John's divorced. Divorce is no big deal. You just move along.
What the hell, Heather? What the hell? Is Heather even listening to the conversation? I don't understand. Sometimes you just need to, shh. zip it. Like, what the hell? Like, here you go, attacking Lisa yet again. Let it go. So Heather thinks that Lisa dismissed her divorce all season. Yeah, that never happened.
Other
You
than like,
dismissed it.
no,
You used
it's
the word.
I didn't dismiss it. I don't have those kind of conversations with you, Heather. I don't have
I
conversations
heard
about your
you
divorce.
Lisa didn't even bring up Heather's divorce all throughout the season. She didn't even get deep with Heather or really talk about Heather that much, except for during the premiere when she talked about, I don't even know her, blah, 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 blah. Woo! Good time, girl. Other than that, like, the divorce wasn't even mentioned. And that wasn't even talking about the divorce. So, like, why are you making a big deal about it, Heather? Why is Heather making this conversation about her? Why can't you show this type of emotion and sympathy when I'm hurting, when I'm struggling?
I see your emotion. I'm
think
like, why
that
can't
when-
you tap into
I
that
think
same
the way
emotion
I'm
when I'm
referring-
hurting, when I'm struggling? Like,
Heather, babe, this isn't about you. It's about Meredith and Seth and Lisa being a genuine friend and wanting to see them together. How is that even talking about divorce? I mean, I don't understand. Why is Heather just going on and on and on? She's talking right over Lisa, and it's really annoying. So now Andy brings up Meredith's marriage and Jen talking about the marriage and all the other ladies talking about the marriage. So this caused Jen to get very emotional. Jen apologized for her actions towards Seth and Meredith and Robert Cosby, and it was just a really touching moment.
Robert Sr., I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't you worry about it, sis. At all.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
And here's what, Jen really does have a good heart. She is a good person, and I will stan Jen Shaw until proven differently. Done. Shaw Squad, guys. Yes, indeed. And you can come here and you can be like, I fucking disagree. And that's fine. I mean, it's really not, but it's fine. So Mary, though, Mary is so insightful, guys, in a weird, like, messed up way. And I really, really loved Mary during the reunion. It's like she woke up, but then fell asleep at the end. It'll all make sense. Stick with me to the end of this review. It'll make sense. So now let's move into the Vegas trip. The infamous Vegas trip. But before we get into that, a little fun fact. We found out that season 1 wrapped filming the week before the countrywide COVID lockdown happened. Isn't that, like, wild to even think that this whole season was filmed pre-COVID? I don't even remember what life was like pre-COVID anymore. So back to the Vegas trip. Andy asks Jen why she was still so angry with Whitney going into the Vegas trip after they've already made up at the bathtubs, which is valid, and I want an answer to that as well, and ding ding ding, we get one. So the reason that Jen was still so upset with Whitney after they apologized is because after Whitney apologized for what she said and did at Coach Shaw's birthday party, she immediately went on and said that Lisa and Meredith weren't Jen's friends and that they were talking about her behind her back, and that is why the reason Jen was still so upset with Whitney going into the Vegas trip, and it all makes sense now in my mind. I get it. I hear you. I see you. I get it. So then Andy brings up Jen asking the ladies to pick sides all throughout the season and asks who thinks Jen preaches loyalty but doesn't show it back. All the ladies raised their hands except for Lisa, and that is a true friend right there. I think that the other ladies gunned for Jen all season because she was an easy target, and there I said it. It's very unfair. It's very apparent that Meredith does not want to move forward with Jen at all. Also, Meredith doesn't understand the friendship between Lisa and Jen. But here's the thing, going away from that, this is my problem with Heather, because all while this is happening, Heather said this. She is very dismissive though, even though she's calling Lisa dismissive.
Well, that's the thing is I feel like I've ate
I'm
I
sure
feel
you
like,
do, but you haven't.
yeah, I know that's one of the things I'm working on having my voice and everything.
Yeah, I got you. What I was letting go.
I think the real dismissive one is Heather. And there, I said it, and that's my opinion. Heather thinks that Jen said awful things about her. I do not recall those awful things being shown on the show. Apparently, Heather said that Jen said that the only roles Heather will ever get as an actress is Shrek or a manatee, and that she buys off the rack from the Dress Barn. What is the Dress Barn? It kind of reminds me of the Blouse Barn from Schitt's Creek. If you know, you know. I think Heather has some sort of weird, twisted perspective of what she thought Jen's friendship was. And there, I said it. So Heather and Jen, they are like going at it like feral cats. And Mary falls asleep, guys, giving me some classic Ramona Singer vibes. But Mary does rebound perfectly. This is how you play the game, Mary. This is how you play the game. Kudos to you, bitch.
I heard your question.
Yeah, what was it?
You said, what did I think about when Jen raised her hand at the loyalty for Heather? And I felt like Jen was hurt, so she was doing it as a dig.
She thinks that the reason Jen raised her hand about Heather at the hypnotist house was that she was angry at Heather and she was doing it as a dig. Where's the lie, people? Where is the lie? So this is where the reunion makes a complete 180 and goes towards the worst. Jen, for the whole season, was labeled as a bully, aggressive, a troublemaker. The list goes on. And it's offensive to say that to a woman of color, especially in today's climate of everything going on within the world. Heather and Whitney just talked right over Jen as if her points are not even valid. And Heather keeps calling Jen aggressive, saying, "You're being aggressive right now, babe." And all of that, it just took Jen back to what she had to deal with growing up. You know, with being the only woman of color in a predominantly white city in Salt Lake City. And I think Jen has every right to be upset about what is happening. There is definitely a double standard for sure. But Mary nailed it. Again, Mary nailed it. Agreeing with Mary on a lot of her points. She said that she thinks that Heather and Whitney think they are better than people of color because they are white women. Oh, hell no, Heather. Hell no.
On Instagram to try to
education. I'm not here to
I don't want you to educate me. I don't want you to.
I don't think the other ladies understand what Jen has gone through and her struggles, and that is where the problem is. It just appears as if they don't even give a shit or even want to try to understand. They just want to sit in their little chairs in their privileged lives and label Jen as aggressive and angry and mean, a bully, and won't even allow her to have the opportunity to talk or explain why she is the way she is. How is that being a good friend to her in any way, shape, or form? It's not. The fact that we're having this very deep conversation on a national platform, it's groundbreaking, and it needs to continue to happen. But Jen has had enough.
I didn't want to get into this because it is painful, and you do not know.
And I mean, I feel bad for her. I really do. And Jen, I have your back. I get where she's coming from. Everyone is sitting there labeling her as a bully and aggressive and this and that. And she's trying to explain the reason why I'm like this is because I'm a woman of color living in a predominantly white city and growing up, this is what I was told. And no one is giving her the benefit of the doubt or even wanting to try to understand where she's coming from. And then Heather saying, I don't want to understand. I don't want to be educated. Like, wow, bitch. Wow. Really? All Jen is trying to do is just explain her situation, growing up as a woman of color married to a black man. The other ladies seemed very dismissive of her feelings. It's like they didn't even give a shit about Jen. And it was very apparent, and the only person that had Jen's back was Lisa and Mary. Where's the lie? So after Jen storms off set, very shaken and upset Coach Shaw gives her a classic pep talk and walks her back on set, and this is where we wrap up the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Part 3 reunion. The one big success that did come out of this reunion was that Mary and Jen were able to work through all of their differences, apologize, and move forward. So I'm really curious to know if this can hold going into season 2. So the reunion ends with some much needed comedic relief. Lollipop meatballs, fake snow, and Mary trying to eat said fake snow.
My hair's gonna frizz up.
I don't think that's now.
And that's a wrap, guys. Mazel to an amazing season 1 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Ladies, I loved every frickin' second of this season. Make sure you get yourself subscribed to my channel because I have a video coming out on Sunday where we will talk about final thoughts, what I thought about the season, what I loved about the season, what I didn't love about the season. There wasn't anything I didn't love. This season was great. I'm gonna talk about season 2, who I think should come back, who is coming back. We're gonna give you all the final thoughts. So get subscribed to my channel because that video comes out on Sunday. Hit the bell notification so you get notified when that new video comes out. And we will talk one last time about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City on Sunday. Thank you guys so much. Get subscribed to my channel and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.